Good morning and welcome in to Four Wide with Coffee. Yeah, we're a little late. We fully acknowledge that, but we're on our own time schedule, right, guys? With us,
You got
Ed, Coco, and Mike joining us here today. How you guys doing?
got the coffee?
Got the coffee?
It's Mike joining us here today.
Whoever's got their feed going from YouTube, please cut that off.
Hopefully it's not me. I got coffee.
I got coffee.
I got coffee.
Okay, where are we going to start this thing today? We're going to talk about the elephant in the room, that being Bathurst, or it was interesting.
Tag name Butthurt.
Yeah, for some, absolutely.
You like my new name, huh?
So, listen, how did you guys do yesterday?
Well,
Look, no. First off, all right, we'll let Coco have his moment. I think we all had our moments yesterday. I know I did. Overall, considering it as Bathurst, coming out P12 and P13, I thought was pretty cool. Both teams right there finishing, together.
Very respectable.
But both teams had our problems, and I just think it's inherent to Bathurst. It's a tight track. It's like a Belle Isle or Long Beach, and you're talking about 12 hours going up and down that damn mountain. And if anybody makes a mistake on that mountain, there's just very few places that you can avoid it. It's a lot of luck involved. So,
And you're not even going to see the car till you're coming around the corner, right?
Yeah.
So your time to react is like this.
yeah, it's luck. All right,
and
Coco.
not only that though, and I'm gonna defend myself a little bit. Yeah, I had a meltdown. We'll go over that, but it's unforgiving, right? It is unforgiving. The elevation changes, the bumps, the different things about that. It is unforgiving. You're a little too harsh on that throttle. You need to be smooth on exits, right? You give it a little too much, that ass end's coming around on you. So. It's an unforgiving track as well, in my opinion. And that was my downfall, right? I, was going for it. And I kind of got loose and, put us in a bad spot really quickly. But, after that first problem that I had and, an accident on my own accord, I was sideways, guy came up, T-boned me, there you go, right? We're done.
Right.
And I couldn't really move, right? You can't move. It wasn't like wall bouncing that I did. I couldn't move and he couldn't go anywhere. Nobody's fault, except my own. But I had a kind of a meltdown. I think people really don't understand how, and I'm going to stop here, but how emotionally draining and difficult a track like that is, right? And the psyche that gets played in there, like for me, I'm usually pretty good on these endurance races as far as 0 X's, keeping my cool, don't push it too hard, whatever. But get caught up in the racing or whatever, and then you have that mental thing that what makes a good endurance racer, in my opinion, is that guy that can bounce back from that issue. And yesterday, I don't think I bounced back like I normally do. So what do you think? Difficult in a mental state to bounce back?
For some, sure. I mean, sometimes when people get amped up, they stay that way. Yeah. So I think you really hit on something. A good endurance driver is one who can hit those peaks, but immediately come right back down and stay focused. Bathurst, man, it's going to test you. It's going to test you. Because like you just said, if anybody makes a mistake, not even to your own doing, it could end your race so fast. So there's that constant searching, you're doing your own thing, you're scanning as far ahead as you can, but as far ahead as you can is 50 feet around that wall you can't see.
Yeah, and even then, and kudos to Mike. Mike was pretty much the all-day spotter, okay, for the teams at different points. So kudos to you, Mike, for all that. But even when you were in the bird seat, you couldn't you didn't always have a good camera view. There was no, you had to constantly adjust your cameras in order to see, and even then you'd still get blind spots up there with the trees and on top of the mountain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
going through the elbow, you can't see in the elbow in the tight left, and especially coming through the S's as you start your descent down the mountain.
The dipper.
It's definitely really hard to see, and that was where most of our problems were at, was coming through the S's coming down.
Yep.
I had to, and I did. I posted in our Discord, not to show off, my rig or anything, but I posted the custom camera I made when I went to spot, because I had to go up so high, higher than the blimp, to get around those trees, turn the angle of the car, and everything else. Like you said, Danny, there's no good spot. And even doing all of that, I was still moving my camera left or right, depending on where you were. It's a constant adjustment.
It was a constant adjustment. But no, I mean, I think the team, everybody did great overall. Everybody had their moments yesterday. Coco completely, listen, and I think Ed, I'd like to hear Ed's opinion on this too. Of course, Mike and Coco, you've been doing this enough, but in my opinion, the toughest thing about any endurance race is starting the damn thing off for the team. The amount of pressure that's on that individual, and I don't care if you start from the pits or not, it doesn't matter. First stint of the endurance race is the most high pressure position, and I guess second would be the closing stint, right? But that's 100%. My opinion. So and then so you've got that level, and then you add on that it's fucking Bathurst, man. Okay, fucking Mount Panorama is just I love the track, but there's just no margin for error. There were 48 cars out there on the track yesterday. So no, good job, Coco. Nothing. There's no apologies needed over what happened yesterday morning. We were good.
And that start is unique, right? Because one, it's usually cool conditions. We were in the upper 60s.
Yep.
We were nighttime.
Early in the morning, so it's pitch effing black. And you're right, the whole field is there, and me starting the race on our side, you're right. You're so nervous, amped up for the first 5 laps of that race. The first 5 laps of that race are the most intense, I think, out of any of the endurance races.
I agree. I guess the only one maybe that comes close, and I'm hoping we get to do it this year, is the 24 Hours at Nürburgring. I would imagine that would be on the schedule. Yep, I would imagine that would be about the same level.
Yeah, it looks like, I believe that's on the schedule, Danny. So
we'll see.
That race takes a couple weeks just for the muscle memory, because you really have to be on autopilot on that thing when you're tired.
Yep.
Okay.
It is on the schedule, May 13th, guys.
I do want to bring this up because we beat this. I think we're over time, but I do want to bring this up. Danny, help me out with the jump.
Okay.
The jump. We did that good last night at the end of the race.
Listen, Jay and Tim nailed that jump. I'm not even sure if I can pull that in over here.
Share the screen, buddy,
let me see if I can. Give me a second. So Jay and Tim finished up last night in the cars, and they were like, hey, you going to do the jump? It's like, yeah, let's do the jump. So let me see if I can get it pulled up over here while we're sitting here.
So you guys did this on your cool down lap?
They did it on the cool down lap
at the end of the race.
I'm going to see, listen, not only did let me see if I can put this in studio mode.
I won't spoil it for him.
Yeah, absolutely, just incredible what they pulled off.
That's great.
I'm trying to get this over here, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me see.
While you're doing that, I'm going to look around a little bit here.
I got it. Just give me
yeah, because they had, I don't know if you know, but we'll have to look at it. I just seen posted.
Yeah. I got it right here.
Yeah.
There we go. And then we'll talk through exactly what they did, which was I was flabbergasted, and for 2 reasons on it, but creative picks.
I know what you're going to say, and I know why you're waiting to say it. So
okay, here we go,
brother.
Here we go. Okay,
Ed,
so
you didn't know the team did this? Both teams did this?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't know.
So look. Okay, so it should be Should be up on the screen now. As they met on the back, okay, and decided, hey, we're going to do the jump together. And not only did they do it together, is it on the screen? It's on my screen. Okay, the YouTube's a slow delay. Not only did they do it together, Jay was practically Daytona drafting with Tim, okay, as they were approaching this thing. And they made the jump. Tim perfectly cleared it. Jay chipped the tires just a bit and did an amazing somersault through the air. Double, probably multiple, right? And the pictures kind of lay out there what happened, how it looked and what happened as they go. But Tim landed it, okay? Tim landed it, right? And then if you watch as far as how the video went, Jay wound up landing his too. It wasn't quite as controlled after he got landed, but he was landed also. So the pictures try to convey kind of what happened. Thought it was pretty cool, right? Yeah. Oh. But it was well done, man. It was well done.
I think it deserved a shout out on the show, Danny. So.
Yeah, and good on you for bringing that up, Coco, because that was absolutely nuts as far as that jump and how they landed it, to say the least.
We didn't even think about it, honestly. Wasn't even a discussion.
All right, well I'll tell you what, let's keep on going with the show then. I think we are past our audio and video technical problems. I think we're pretty good here now as far as running forward. Not to say it's going to be perfect, but we did have a bit of a hiccup this morning. We had last year's 2022 NASCAR, as far as our Cup Series and KCE scheduled for interview this morning. We called it off at the last minute because of delays. We got back on. We're going to reschedule Bob Rogerson for 2 weeks from today and bring him out so everybody can, we can talk to him as last year's champion as we move into the 2023 season, which, you know what, guys, we're a week out. We are 1 week out from the 2023 season. And I thought we could go ahead and have that discussion in regard to, kind of our schedule, what some of the changes are going to be, off weeks generally. Up there at the top on the ticker, as far as on the screen, you can see also the first few weeks laid out for Cup and also GT3.
Very nice. Daytona.
So, Coco, you want to talk about kind of how we're going to run this year, or point out some specific changes?
Yeah, I think this is a good time to kind of go into it. We have our schedule, Danny. That's fantastic with the ticker up top. Didn't know you was going to run that, but we're going to finish out today, right, with our Talladega Race Under Cup, right, which should end that season once we start. 2 hard weeks for us, in all honesty. People call them easy. I call them stressful as hell. With Talladega, then we back up with our Daytona opener, right? Then we're going to head over to Auto Club, Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Atlanta before our first kind of break, right? So we got, our first 5 getting under our belt, getting everything squared away. Pretty decent. That's basically same schedule for our 87s and our Xfinity series. And then our GT3 series is going to end tomorrow at Canadian Tire. Once we get through that, we're going to start off with Suzuka, Monza, I can't say it's Muskoken, and then, of course, Barcelona. So Sebring, BIR, so on, so on. We have a little bit of a longer stint going on the GT3 series before our break. So we got a lot of racing ahead of us. As far as, and if I say again, somebody hit me with a shocker, okay?
Have to get Janice to put that collar on you, so we don't have control of that.
He likes it too much.
Yeah.
He'll be a mess in the seat.
Yeah, so I think the important part here is to register early. So for all our league members out there that are watching and things like that, I think early registration is going to be key. Just so you know, it's always been this way. 41 drivers are accepted into our Oval Series. I expect everybody's going to be there quite early. Gates open at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I would say to all you guys, I can't, let's say, for instance, as a league owner, I can't remove a driver for a first-time driver coming in and say, well, you know what, we're going to do this. Now, there's no way for me to allow more in time. So
be there on time, ready to hit the button,
or else you're going to be sitting there watching, right?
Yeah.
That brings in something in, we are entertaining, and I'm not, Danny, this is a shocker for you and everybody on this call, actually, but, we have always entertained qualifying races. If we get the numbers that we're, looking at something like that, where we have to run a qualifying race on a Friday night and have provisionals or something like that, we are looking at how that could work, and the reason being is because we're optimistic about KCE. We think we're going to get to those numbers at some point, right? So if we do, then we're looking at that now. We're always trying to stay one step ahead, but for this Daytona, you might be sitting in the pits watching, right?
And I think that's a great point you bring up, Coco, with the things that iRacing has added. As far as to league capabilities now, and as far as you can expand the field up to, I believe it's 62, right?
Right.
62. And the other cool piece of that would be being optimistic, if we start to get those numbers over the size field that we want to see on the track, everybody can come into the session up to 62, let's say, but we're only going to take the top X number of qualifiers for the race, whatever number that is. And, I know there's other leagues out there that run it that way. It is a pretty cool thing I've seen, where, I've seen it in hosted sessions, where they open the door for everybody, but only the top 42, 35, whatever the number is, get in. And that really starts to put the pressure on, okay, I've got to get a good qualifying run now in order to race.
Right.
Normally you're going to have a better field that way anyways, right? Because you do have the true top 41 drivers of that field.
Of that evening, right? And the thing is that's the whole deal is, you want to have the thing. You don't want, now iRacing could do what they want. They could say we have an unlimited league amount to come in. But can you imagine 65 cars on Martinsville?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm not saying we run 65, but no, I didn't ever mean to imply that. Now, hey, GT3, game on, okay?
There's things about GT3, and again, I think this is. I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds here, Danny, and giving content I shouldn't give until next week. But we always are looking at KCE to make things different. Ed knows the dream of GT3 is to have a true multi-class event.
Multi-class.
So we knew that going in, right? We started GT3, see if we can get our numbers up, and then go to like a multi. But you can't do a multi with 14, 15 drivers. You got to have the big numbers, 35, 40, you know what I mean, before you can start doing that multi-class type stuff. Yep. And it's always been a vision of KCE for that, right?
Yep. Great point.
So,
Coco, how about the new rules that we've got that are coming up for this season? The incident point changes, as far as you want to talk about that and how the bonus is going to work now, so everybody's aware if they missed that in the Discord.
Yeah, if they missed that in the Discord, they're a day late and a dollar short, because I tell you what, I think it's exciting news. I think it's going to lean towards, and I want to hear your opinion, guys. I want to hear the panel. But we were thinking about everybody and how we do our incident penalizing or incident points in the way iRacing does it. We found out earlier this month, maybe a month ago, that I am able to, and I'm trying it this season. I'm able to adjust. So instead of a penalizing point from 1-to-1. So you get an X, you get docked a penalty, and you lose your 5 clean racer points, right? I looked it over, and I found that I can say, for every 4 incident points, you get 1 point. Okay, so you're docked 1 point. Now, that means, and this is the part that's a little hard to understand, and I'm glad we're talking about it. That means that if you get 1 through 3, you still are eligible for your clean driver racing points. So if you crush the wall, if you scrape the wall and get that 1X, we all know how deflating that is,
Sure.
right? Or off track with a 1X. It's deflating. You want to quit because you're like, man, I just lost 5 points. So you really didn't lose 5, you lost 6.
Yeah.
Because you got docked a point and you lost 5. That's a big hit. Now you get another one of those, and it's another one. So now you're at 7, 8, 9. You're walking out of there losing 12, 14 points, right?
It'll make a big difference in the points as I tally up, for sure.
Exactly. And with that, though, so for every 4 points, you're going to get docked 1. You don't lose your clean driver points until you hit 4. Does that make sense? Now,
Like it.
One thing that we are doing, though, is then that starts over. So your 5th point would be 5 points. Minus your 3 would be 8. Okay, right? Then 5 will not be an extra point. It would still be at your 5th one. You would
There's
still
math involved here.
Yep.
Yeah, bear with us.
Don't do math in public.
Exactly.
Break the calculator out.
I didn't write this down, and I should have. But at the 5th point, you won't lose an additional point yet. So you're still sitting at 5 incident points, but you only lost 4 total points. 6 and 7, same way. You're not losing anything yet. When you hit 8, you lose another point.
I think it's a great change.
Yeah, I do too.
Personally.
In doing that, we also dropped the clean driver points. And people might say, well, that sucks. And it does. But let me explain why we did it, and let me explain how it works. The clean racer points have went from 5 clean racer points to 3 racer points, clean racer points. And the reason we did that is because now you have less of a chance of losing those points. What we found is the guy that's run up front, the guy that's in first place, he really doesn't have a concern with losing his clean driver points. The guys in the middle, the guys in the back that are fighting for those positions always get dinged for those 5 points. So we saw this major spread. Increasing. So our top 2 were hundreds of points ahead of 3, 4, and 5.
Yep.
So we collapsed that, and we said we're going to bring that gap closer together by still awarding you for clean points or clean driving, but it's not going to be as detrimental to midfield.
Oh, cool. Better points racing for me.
So in the end, if everything works out through the mathematical geniuses of KCE, if it all works out, what should happen is we should close that gap in the end races for that championship.
I think that'll help the drivers be a little more relaxed because, like you said, you get that 1X ding and you're like, that pretty much wipes that out. So that's
right. And it gives you a chance to regain, because if you lose that, we're also looking at, and this is not gospel, guys, don't go out running out and saying, oh my God, this is what they're doing. But there's also the ability to say, if you drive 30 minutes of clean racing, you can take a point off.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm doing it on time or laps. We're looking at this, but there's the ability to do some of these things. And this is always what we're looking to do. Make the racing better at KCE, making the points races tighter.
No, I like it. I'm excited about the new changes. It'll take some getting used to, like we were talking about as far as the math, but I'm excited about the changes.
Yeah. I already went over Bathurst, Danny, and I did see that you put in here team registration. You want to go on to that?
Sure. Yeah. Let's kick it off, man.
Okay. So with the changes come in, we noticed that we have a lot of teams here at KCE Racing, and they, it was one of those things where it had twofold. Okay, we want you guys to be making friends. We want you guys to be, enjoying each other's company, what have you. So we never want to deter team anything, team building, team whatever, team get together. So what we come up with is that since we didn't know who was working with who as far as an administrative standpoint, and I'm going to point this out for obvious reasons in a moment when I paste it in for obvious reasons. So we deployed this team thing. The team thing is basically, if you have a team in KCE Racing, you must register that team and its drivers in a registration of it. What that does for us is two things. It actually is a benefit to everybody because, as Ed saw and others with the championship and everything, it gives you team stats, which you can then look further down the road. And I'm not saying we're doing this, but you can look at team events. You can look at team championships. You can look at different things like that later down the road. So now we have a running total of how your team is doing versus the other team. Encouraging participation from all team members, and bringing that in. Now, one of the things this does, though, and it was always there. And then if anybody wants to argue about it, I'm here to argue. But it was always there, which is the team dynamic, right? So now you have 5 guys working or 4 guys working together. What is legal? What is not? Right? You might get some immoral or unsportsmanlike activities. But the reason why I made it a requirement in KCE to be a team event, and you must register a team. If you're running as a team, we find out, and you're not registered as a team, and we see scrupulous behavior and shenanigans being, let's say, for instance, blocking a car that is in 12th place, blocking the 13th place driver because they're going for the championship when their teammate is also in 7th place going for the championship, holding guys back, stuff like that. Now we know whose team are on. Okay. And as Bill France says, it's, don't mess up my show, so it's kind of, now we know who to go after. So Ed has a team. Ed's the team lead. All right, Team Army. All right, so Ed has a team. I see something strange from one of Ed's drivers. I call Ed on the carpet and I said, me and Ed got to talk. Take the team leader and says, we got to talk. So I talk to Ed and Ed talks to his drivers. The team lead is responsible for their driver actions.
Coco, you got a special room with Ed, don't you?
No, Ed has special rules, but we're good.
I've got a section of the rule book, and I'm dedicated to adding a chapter or 2 every season. I mean, I can't let you down. I do it for the drivers.
Yeah, but the thing is I think it gives us more options on the positive side of things. Team battles, team events, having a team championship. I'm excited about that side of it. I'm not excited about the other side because I hope it never happens, right? But in all honesty, I do believe that it wakes up the team environment.
And what happens usually when you institute a change like that, right? Things are going to get flared up. Anger is going to spike a little bit until everybody's kind of in the same boat. You realize, fuck, we're all in the same boat. Just fucking let's all get along. Water's going to be a little rough at first, and bail on past that.
I think that outlining, and which is very tough for me as a league owner, is, and I hate even saying that term, but what's very difficult for me to manage is exactly that. You bring up a great point, which is, what is the line of too much, right? You want to make sure that the penalty is harsh enough to understand that it's detrimental to the league, but you want to give enough leeway so that everybody can get to that mesh point. It's not going to happen overnight. None of my changes that I did over this past season going into our next season is going to work right out of the gate. They're going to take time for our drivers to learn it and our drivers to adhere to it, as well as, understand it. Some guys don't even understand what I'm talking about. and they need clarification. But you know as well as I do, it's gray.
And some people look at this as it's a game. Obviously, we see it as a simulation. We take it seriously. Some of us have been in this for a couple of decades. So there's passion involved, right? We're very passionate about this thing that we do.
Good word.
No.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much. Anybody have any questions on that? On those changes, issues, things?
I think they're all good, so you can put that on record.
Thank you for
creating a team one.
Yes, sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to talk over you.
All right.
I won't say that, and I don't. It's not to say this negatively, but the only thing that I have concern over team registration that I think it has bumped up so far is probably the competition level. And let me explain what I mean by that. And I also worry about the drivers that are not on a team.
Yes.
Okay. We do have some privateers out there. I don't want them to feel left out. Before, and this is my opinion, right? This is just, Jack Yeagerman's, take it for what it's worth and move on the fuck down the road opinion. But before that team registration, and Ed, back me up on this, if it is as far as, what you think. But I think before the team registration, me and you had a radio and we kind of worked together. When team registration happened and we started seeing those other teams on there with, 4 people, and it's like, oh shit. All of a sudden, me and Ed actually started formulating strategies and going, hey, we started talking deep details then. So the competition level changed with the registration requirement with the teams. So
it brought a whole new dynamic to it.
It did. For better or worse, it brought a whole brand new dynamic with it. And then the other dynamic side of it is I do worry about some of the drivers that are not owned teams. And I don't know, what should or could be done to either encourage that, or because I don't want privateers to feel left out either. Does that make sense?
But here's my rebuttal to your comment. My rebuttal to your comment is I fully agree. It heightened some of the aggression towards the other teams because you wanted to beat them, right? But I did notice an uptake in new team forms. Okay, so new teams have been formed. So like we just got one today, a request for a team, right? Now, Danny, I can't stress enough how much I agree with you about leaving the privateers out. Okay, I really can't. I thought about that in doing this. I really did. However, with the privateers, when you go to a NASCAR track, okay, and you're a new driver, okay, and you're sitting there with Joe's Pucker Up, vodka on your car, right? And
you like Joe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Chattanooga Chew, that was another one.
Yeah, you show up and you're the lone guy out there and you're at Daytona, okay? And I'm gonna pick Daytona for a reason. You're at Daytona. You don't have any friends out there. You learn very quickly that you need to make friends, right? And then making friends may get you on a team. Do I see some privateers running and being okay with themselves, not just wanting to be the lone guy out there, not caring about, I'm just out here to win a race. I'm just out here to race and win a race. I do see some of those guys, but for the most part, any person that's, how do I put this without sounding very bad? Any driver that comes in and sees the team dynamic going on, which they will, it won't take long. No. They're going to say, well, how do I get on one of them teams? Well, that's going to open up communications with that new guy. That new guy's going to try to make friends. That new guy's going to try to get on a team. That new guy's going to be pulled into the wing of veteran drivers that know how this shit works and what's going to get them thrown out of the league, penalized in the league, or whatever. They're going to have mentors. So for it being a bad thing, if a privateer comes in and says, shit, I don't want to be by myself, I'm hoping that they'll get grabbed by another team, approached by another team, and say, hey, you drive pretty good. How'd you like to join Team Army? Okay, now
team limit, number limit?
5. Here,
Yeah.
so you got to make your selections correctly, right, Ed? Now, Ed is a team lead, says, hey, how would you like to join Team Army? Now, I've got Ed and Danny, okay, and all your other members. I don't know who's your members. I'm sorry, off the top of my head, I'm an old guy. But all your other team members who are veteran drivers within KCE know what they know the rules, know how we run shit around here. Now, you got this guy, and now you're mentoring him. I have less work to do now. I don't have to watch him for 3 races and kick him out because he's an idiot and doesn't understand how shit goes. Now, Ed says, dude, don't do that. Coco will kick your ass right the fuck out of here, right?
There's definitely some situations within that team dynamic that, for an example, it could get the team leads in hot water if we're going to be held responsible for what our team drivers are doing. And yes, I guess that does make sense. For example, if we're running hard and I got a guy and he's just repeatedly cutting my nose off, I'm showing him my nose to the inside, lap after lap after lap. And at the last second, he's yanking it in front of me. And I know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. So I'm on the radio with my teammates just venting. This guy's chopping my nose. He did it again. He did it again. He did it again. Now, 20 laps later, I've got my teammate around that car, and I'm oblivious to what's going on. And all of a sudden, there's a little block here. Maybe he's making it a little more difficult for that guy to get around there. And then the admins come down, and the whole team is in threat of being in trouble for that action. So that's a gray area I think we got to be careful of.
I don't disagree with you. But first action will always be on the driver himself. He has control. He has the steering wheel, the brake, and the clutch. Okay?
Okay.
And the gas. It'll always come down first on that driver. But that team lead will be aware that person got a penalty. It's on our website as soon as we do it.
Copy.
Okay. Now, if that guy keeps doing it and we find out, and we're sitting there saying this is a team. If it looks like, and I'm going to tell you this right now, guys, and this is I think a big thing that everybody's going to hate, but if it is determined by me that this was a team guided event, meaning I believe in my heart and soul that Ed said, cut that guy off, the whole team will be put on play. But if I got a guy
not just the drivers involved, so even the drivers that are not even involved in it,
the entire team,
even if they're not in the race. Let's just for clarification,
the entire team. Because if you're giving instructions to block, if you're giving instructions to take out a guy, well, that's an intentional taking out, you're gone anyway. But if you're giving instructions to do certain things, then the whole team would be involved because the whole team's sitting on what am I going to do if the team lead can't control the drivers and is telling the drivers what to do?
That's where emotions are also going to come in to the administrative side that is making those judgmental calls. There's got to be some really solid evidence to be able to hammer the whole team.
There doesn't have to be any evidence. Let me explain why, and this is going to go really well. This is going to go bad. Maybe we shouldn't have started this conversation on video too. But
I'm sure a lot of people want to know. I mean, it is
multiple teams that are thinking this right now.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, there's only one team owner. And his name is Bill France. That's Cocoa Puffs. I don't need your approval to throw you out.
Okay.
So I think that's clear as day.
I don't think that was a question. Copy. Yep.
Yeah.
Roger.
No, that wasn't the question there.
No, that's exactly the question. Because the only person that can throw you out in this league is me.
Right. I just hope that emotions are in check when judgments or when calls are being made on something that cannot be factually proven. Like, I think this is what they said, but you've got no proof that that's actually what was said.
That's what I think. Yeah, that's what I thought you were going with, because you were talking about if they were under advisement to block, right? Well, how do we know that they were under advisement to block? I thought that was a question. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. We don't. And I can't. There's no way I can.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
Okay.
Roger.
Is that clear enough?
Yep.
And
Mike,
like I said, here's the only thing you
don't
have
be
beneficial.
silent over there. Don't be
Yeah.
sitting in the corner, Mike.
Here,
And this is why all drivers need to be aware of this. All team drivers need to be aware of this.
Yep.
right. And here's the thing. One thing you have lucky for you guys that you don't even realize. And it's hilarious because it's great. I'm not in the top 5. Okay. I don't care. Like I'm not one of the guys that you, Ed, you, Danny, would be blocking, or let's say team. What teams do we have, guys? I don't even know.
Throwbacks out there.
Okay,
Lost Rich.
Let me pick on you because you're here, Mike. Throwback. Like I'm not
out there.
Yeah, TJ's Racing, Throwback Racing. I'm not on anybody's team. Do you know why I'm not on anybody's team? It's not because I wasn't invited.
We invited you many times.
I refuse. I will not be on the team, and I'm not in the top 5. I'm not in the top 5. I am not
partial.
Yep. So I'm the only one that sits there as a privateer, and I'm the only one that watches the replay and says yay or nay to it. The replay committee does their job perfectly on penalties. When it comes down to the craziness of, do we get rid of this guy? There's something in KCE Racing you guys know. I said I would never do. I will never kick out anybody or any team without a discussion to fix the problem first.
I can vouch for that.
Is that right? I mean,
yeah.
Mike's been there since the beginning, so there's your certification of approval.
Yeah, and I'm picking on Ed because you're here, Ed, by the way. All right, I'm picking on your team. So Ed's team, does something wrong. The first discussion is going to be between Ed and I, and it says, dude, if this happens again, the whole team's going to go. The whole team. I'm joking on that. You know what I mean? I'm just making it extreme. Ed's going to go back to his team and go, but we're under the microscope. Guys, settle down, or whatever it is, whatever the penalty would have been. Now that driver himself is going to get the penalty, but Ed's going to be aware that his team's being looked at. Ed's going to be aware of why I'm looking. Ed's going to be aware that that's it. It's not fair for me to one day just say, Ed, goodbye. Your whole team's gone. I woke up on the left side of the bed and I hate the left side.
Fuck him.
Yeah, that's not a league owner. A league owner says to Ed, what the hell is going on out there, man? It's too much aggression, too much this, too much that, whatever. You need to calm these guys down. Work with
I see somebody on my team who is a problem, then it's up to me to remove that driver from the team.
Right, so your team doesn't get hurt. But I will never kick somebody out. Well, let me rephrase this. I will never kick somebody, a racer, out without a justification of discussion, fix the problem, a couple of weeks to fix the problem. Okay? Nobody will ever wake up one day and go, oh, look, I don't have KCE anymore. Because we've all felt that one, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
So does that make sense, Danny? Because that answers your question about what if you're going to throw the whole team out? I would already be talking to Ed and saying, I'm watching. Right?
Yeah, I think we've talked it. I think we've talked it.
Okay.
Matter of fact, we probably talked it for entirely too long sitting here looking at the clock.
Well,
But
you brought it up. Who brought it up?
you brought it up. You brought up the team registration guidelines. So see, not me. Roll the tape back. Guys, you guys on YouTube, y'all can just hit rewind because YouTube has that. Hit rewind, and we'll see. Now Coco's getting ready to say, but you typed it in the notes. True, I did. So.
What I was going to say is, and put it to
Coco
rest,
brought it up.
All my notes were said is announced teams identified, teams cannot hinder other drivers, teams are for sharing and helping each other. That's what I was going to say.
You covered it all.
I think it's covered. All right, let's continue then down the list. And like I said, we are running. We try to keep this at about an hour. We've still got a little bit of time. We're good to go. No rush, but just FYI for everybody in the room. One thing I wanted to bring up, man, that we had going on here. So as far as in Discord right now, and it's been, I think a lot of the This stuff has been released over in the paint booth section. Maybe we should have a fake PR room that you should set up, Coco. But we have had a lot of good banner over the last few weeks with just different fake press releases. Some of you guys have been out there playing along. I know I played along with it too. Really
Pretty
enjoying
funny.
that. It is pretty funny. If you haven't gotten over there in the paint booth side, go over there, scroll back up, and start. You'll see them. As far as some of these team or just individuals. Mine was just the individual as far as in regard to the sponsor. I know Tim put a great one out there. There's just been some really fun things, which I'm glad everybody's kind of playing along with the fake PR team releases that are going on right now. So make sure you check that out over in the Discord.
The Fives legal teams have been working pretty hard behind the scenes. They have a press release coming out later this afternoon that will tie into tonight's Talladega event. So
there we go.
Be on the lookout for that.
So I can honestly say Throwback is the same it's always been, and we're looking forward to a better season this year.
There you go.
There you go. Mike's plug.
and to be all honest, we actually do have a room instead of the paint booth. We can put that in announcements and use that as well. I think a lot of people,
announcements closed. Yeah,
you can't.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot.
So
that's just for administrative purposes only.
Yeah, but if a PR room would be great because a lot of people will go in there, and that'd be one of the first things they want to focus on.
Yep. And maybe that is a thought, Coco, as far as doing a PR room, and we could move what we've got over there, just continue on it and have fun with it. Because I'm sure these press releases before the season starts are not going to be the last press releases during the course of the season. I'm thinking it's, things change, right? So things change. Announcements come and go. People need to know. Good fun. Go ahead, Ed. Sorry.
I was going to say, talking about announcements, it might be a good idea just to touch briefly on the team's part. If a team member has to remove a driver, it might not be a bad idea to make that somewhat public knowledge in an announcement like that.
Oh, that's good.
So everybody else on the track realizes, oh, that driver's not a part of that team anymore. Oh. So they don't go behind the scenes and be like, Army fucked me because this guy did this type of deal.
It's a great idea.
Okay, it is a good idea.
Yeah. I didn't even think about it that way. That's like seriously official as opposed to play date official, right?
Yeah. All right. So, for those of you that are on here, we now have a public relations room.
And just that quick, see what Coco can do.
So if you have public relations room, feel free to enjoy the new room.
Click a button. That was magic.
That's magic right there. We need to get magic button. Yeah, we need to get some of those conversations moved, or the announcements at least, get those moved over. I wonder if we can copy and paste those over, send them. I don't know. I'll look at that. Yeah, it might be possible.
Yeah,
it might be possible.
Yeah,
I know I can do it individually. But
yeah, I have to copy and paste it, and I will. I'll get those over there to the best of my ability in order. So I'm trying to remember when we announced the teams, guys, because that's what I would want to grab.
Yeah.
Now and then. Yeah.
And it started before that too, just with the announcement of I think the new paint jobs is what kicked it kind of off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll have to see if I can do it.
Might have been Ray. It might have been Ray that started the whole thing.
Yeah, if I can find his, then I'll go from there down, and do the best I can.
But don't miss Tim's.
And then Danny dropping Short Circuit City and going to FedEx.
And if you notice in the background, there is a purple and orange tent. If you kind of playing off here, so just saying, there's something there, right? So
there's something going on.
The FedEx colors are there. The FedEx colors are there.
Well, stuff a brewing.
That's right.
So I'm only looking for anything after my announcements of the team thing, right, Danny? So.
Yeah, and I mean, I can go back and look later, Coco, on the others.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right. Hey, moving on. One thing I wanted to ask about, and I don't know because how clear we are. The Geico restart zone. Are we using that this season?
No.
And there it is.
Yeah, I want to use it badly, Danny, but I have not had the time, to be honest with you, to do the research on our schedule versus how many they have. Okay, if it was a majority, then I would have loved putting it in for this season coming up. I don't. The problem that we had last time is we wanted to put it in every track. That iRacing didn't have them, so we would go to a track and they say, "Are we doing restart zones?" And and I would be like, "No, this one doesn't have it," or "Yeah, we are." And it was such a hit or miss. It was confusing our drivers greatly. So I couldn't do it until iRacing has, I would say, upwards of 85%, 90% of our schedule done. Now, if somebody can come to me or help me and assist me with knowing our schedule versus how many restarts, because I haven't had time to do it, how many tracks we have on our admin team, how many scheduled races do we have? How many of those scheduled races have restart zones? If it's minimal that do not, I would love to do that. I would like to know what your thoughts are on this. Do you guys want it? I'm talking these 4 right here, but I think it'd be awesome.
I'd like to see
Like-
it. I mean, you said if it could be implemented accurately.
I know at one time, iRacing had it so leagues could not do it. I don't know if they've changed that or not.
We were able to do it, right, Dan?
Leagues have always been able to do it. Leagues and hosted sessions have always been able to do it. And I would love to see it implemented. Of course, and I'm probably, on a little bit on the outside here. I would love to see old school rules though implemented in the 87, the Legacy Series too. I would love to see where, there is no green white checker. The lap cars go to the inside. We, single file. I would love to see that.
No pit lane speed limit.
You can
If
do
you
that.
could only change that.
Yeah, you can't change it.
On the 87s, you can go back to the old restart rules.
Yes.
On
Yes.
the 87s.
Yep.
Well, it's not a question of can we.
Yeah,
We know we can. It should be. And
should we?
Guys, this is not, Danny, this is not new to me. We have had this discussion between admins and myself about doing the 87s only as the lap cars on the inside kind of thing, and all that. I want to do, and maybe Danny, this is putting you on the spot, but I want to do a poll and say, what do you guys think about 87s being a true?
I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, absolutely.
And
poll the members because that's. I mean, you've done that before to enhance the league. So yeah, poll the members.
And it's a simple one survey, maybe 2, well, no, I think it needs to be one question of, do you want to go back to legacy rules along with 87 legacy, right? Because I don't want to say, well, do you want inside line pit lane or whatever, or a pace lap, and then have one that says, well, do you want it to end under caution? It's either going to be, we go legacy or we don't go legacy, right?
Yep.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's a one question poll.
Yep.
Too easy.
I think it would be a good one. But back to the Geico. I honestly, guys, I don't know if iRacing is fully implementing this with the NIS this year, because I don't do NIS, and I guess that would be the first thing to look at in the research, because if they're gonna do it for NIS, then they should have it at every track. And I know they released a lot with it, but I don't know. I have not gone back to do the research to see where they're at now as far as the status. I don't know.
It'd be as easy as reviewing all the tracks and seeing if there's a Geico zone in it.
You're exactly right, Mike. It is. I mean, I think it's under the profile. When you go in there, you can look up whether or not the restart zone is available or not. Yep, I think you are right, Mike. So it's just a matter of some research.
Coco, I'll be more than glad to take a lead and look if you want.
That'd be fantastic. Mike, if you could do that for the league, that would be, because I will implement. I think it is something that we should do. It's happening now. It's happening on NASCAR and our Cup Series. We try to do our best. It's a simulation, /game. I will never say game. Right.
Gamulation.
Gamulation. There you go.
That's just like saying does KCE have a website? Come on.
Yeah, I know exactly, but I want it as a league. Running the league, I want it, and there's some guys I'll tell you that don't like the idea, but I think if it's happening there, it should happen. That just brings up like a different discussion we'll have.
Never gonna please everybody.
Yeah. Right.
But I do think, I mean, who does, if we go with the Geico restart zone, who's it affecting? So, and I guess that's kind of how I look at it. First off, it's like you said, that's what they're doing in the real world. Why don't we mimic that? Because we try, minus stages, right? We try to mimic. Same thing with Janus. And if you don't know who Janus is, guys, we're talking about the random caution system software that I think has worked out awesome. That brought a level of realism to it. So, when you look at the Geico restart zone, it's really simple. I mean, the start of the race, it's that zone, but Bernie drops it. So that doesn't change anything from the start of our races. Bernie's green flag is what starts the race. From thereafter, it's either one of two things. It's when the leader starts in that zone, or when the field, the leaders, the two front cars, get to the end of the Geico restart zone line, that Bernie drops a green flag. So it's not hard to understand. I think what it brings, though, it does give the leader there a little bit more of a strategy. And I think that's kind of cool. Yeah.
No, I think it gives him the control to control the start of the race, which he should have because he's the leader.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. So, and I don't see a difference with it. The only problem I have is when I don't have it at 50% of my races, right?
Yep. Nope. Got it. Yeah. No. And that's we'll do that research. But I was just talking about it
by tonight, Coco.
Yeah, because it'd be a done deal.
Awesome. Go ahead, Coco. Sorry.
And that goes same for the 87 rules. I think that poll is going to be exactly what we need to see.
Yes. And
polls are always a good idea.
Polls are a great idea. I think the poll you did at the end of last season was
well
my
done. My girlfriend says a poll's a good
here
idea.
We go. Oh, dear Lord.
That's one good thing that's good about Kim.
Your girlfriend has also admitted that Vienna sausages are her favorite. So, I mean...
With that stated, we're gonna shift this toward community news a little bit. iRacing, we did have patch 4 for season 1. We're up to patch 4 already, guys, for season 1 this past week, on the 7th. Honestly, I did not see a whole lot of changes with this one. Interestingly enough, the big thing, I guess, to talk about would be the graphics. And the reason I bring that up is because of the graphics problems. They did disable Speed Tree. What is it? Yeah, Speed Tree Self Shadow option is now automatically disabled by default. I don't know if that helped you guys or not. I'd be curious to know if anybody had any, forward progress.
I noticed a change. I noticed about a 60 FPS increase everywhere.
That's significant.
With all settings being exactly the same. Prior to that change, that patch that they made, no matter what I did, I was locked at about 119 to 120. It would fluctuate briefly, maybe up to 180, and this is on the 3Ks, blah, 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 blah. But since they made that patch, I've noticed that I am staying consistently around that 180 mark with everything being the same.
Okay. VR, Coco, Mike.
VR?
Yeah. Have we heard any changes as far as for VR?
No, everybody's been pretty stable from my side. I have, on the admin side, we talk a lot about technology, right? And, Gary had his problem, and the number 9 there, he had the problem for a long time. He was dropping down, getting into it. It seems that even with the newest iRacing patches, Gary has not been complaining, screaming, I'm not a VR guy, I'm a triple. But from what I'm hearing, it stayed stable. If you had it fixed from the previous problem, it has stayed stable from the patches.
All right.
As far as from my community.
And I'm not a VR guy.
Yeah, Coco, you don't run VR either, do you? We all run triples here.
Yeah.
We need a VR opinion, but
find a new guy.
Find somebody that likes to wear that. I can't. I respect those guys for being aware of that. I can't imagine.
No.
The only other thing came out of the notes I think worth pointing out, and I haven't checked this yet, but if you drive the next gen Ford Mustang, you may want to check your paint job, because there was a texture mapping it says texture mapping on front fenders has been updated, which fixes some issue with decals and camera draw distances. Sometimes when they mess with those templates, it can screw with your paint a bit. So if you're driving a Ford Mustang, only other thing I'd like to say there is, hey, check that. You may have to go back in and update your paint a little bit, but I'm not a Mustang guy, so.
Yeah, just a heads up, Danny. It was brought to my attention that another VR guy on our chat, hey Jay Crable, he said his VR has been working for him since the initial update, so he's good.
Oh, awesome! Cool. Okay, we've been running about an hour, so an hour and 5 minutes technically, but I think it was about 5 minutes before we started the stream.
Hey, Danny.
Yep.
Yeah, we've been doing pretty good, I guess, huh?
Yeah, we've done great. I hate that we had already waved off Bob, who was standing by. I do hate that, but Mike, hey, thanks for stepping in and joining us this morning.
Oh, thank you for the invite. Appreciate it, guys.
And that apology out to Bob. We got this thing worked out like 5 minutes after we dismissed him, unfortunately. So we apologize for that.
Sorry, Bob. Appreciate you being here. We will get you in 2 weeks to do your interview, man, because that's one of the things Coco mentioned as far as trying to do in here is and somebody's just joined us and screwed everything up. So
geez, that was me.
Look at you, Coco. You can't join after the stream started, Coco. We had this discussion.
How do I get rid of it?
I guess kick yourself out. Look at there you go. Look at see, we couldn't. I think the show technically was okay up until that point, but just for the record, it was Coco, the guy. Go over there.
Expect at least one Coco moment per episode.
Well, my problem is I got a request from Jay Crable that said, hey, here's what he said on the chat, and I apologize, I'm looking down here, guys. It says here, at the end, you guys need to show the video of the jump I posted in general on Discord. So I actually have it up, Danny, on another screen, so I tried to share my screen.
Yeah, no worry. Hey, I'll tell you what, Jay, we'll get it next time, right? We'll get it next time. We're not completely set up for just everything live at the moment when it comes to jumping here, jumping over there. So apologies, but we are getting there. Mike, Ed, Coco, hey, enjoyed sharing my coffee with you this morning.
Yeah, it was a good share.
Cheers, guys. And
cheers.
Again, great job to KCE yesterday in Bathurst and ending the season, the winter seasons, and the way it's going with the championship. And Danny, great job on the championship and the Xfinity, bud.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And hey, congrats to Ed too, as far as in the 87s. So we're in the 5. We're in the 5. So there it is.
Yeah. I unfortunately missed the 87s. I was sick that night. I couldn't keep my eyes open enough, but
yeah, you mentioned
congrats to Ed.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy.
Congrats.
All right, so tonight's big finale with the Cup Winter Series at Talladega, guys. Make sure you're there. Coco, Ed, Mike, until next time, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Until next time, thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate it.
We'll see you guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye.